Hey guys, Zack here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous Epic Roaring Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, Camp Cretaceous supposedly is a new Netflix show that's going to come out sometime in August, I think. When I'm recording this, that'll be next month, but maybe it'll be August when I upload this. I'm not 100% sure. As you may or may not know, I like to record these reviews in advance, so potentially if you're watching this in August, or when I upload this in August, or if I upload this in August, most likely I record it in July. So, yeah. Anyway, Camp Cretaceous is something that I might watch, but I might not watch, honestly. I'm not really crazy about it, and as far as figures go, I feel like I'm just going to get this and nothing else. Nothing else really interests me. There is like a playset coming out, or not really a playset, but it's a repaint of a Stegosaurus and a Baryonyx, and it comes with one of the main characters and a little Bumpy, the Ankylosaurus. I might get that, maybe, but even then, probably not, so yeah. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's just get into this. So first, we'll take a look at the paint. And the painting on this figure is actually not bad. I actually do like the painting here. This is the closest, as far as colors go, the closest we've ever been to having the same color scheme as the original, like, T.rex from Jurassic Park. Because I know the Bite and Fright Tyrannosaurus kind of tried that, but it didn't really come off looking great. But this, I feel like, is much closer. So the overall colors, for the most part, look great. But let's take a closer look. Starting with the head here. We have some brown on the end of the snout right here, and the eyes are painted yellow with black pupils. The teeth are, well, they're not painted, but they're colored a bonish white. We'll talk about the teeth when we talk about the sculpt. But anyway, the inside of the mouth here is painted a sort of like a darkish pinkish color, which admittedly does look nice, but I feel like a little more gloss would have made it just make it pop a little more. So, yeah. Unfortunately, the fingernails are not painted, but that's to be expected. However, the toenails are painted, this blackish color, which does look nice. On the underside, we have the scan code and the new Jurassic World logo. Speaking of underneath the figure, right on the chest here, and like even underneath the neck here, we do have this like a brighter shade of tan, which does look nice. However, it's only like, you know, this spot here. It's not underneath jaws here or anything like that, or underneath the tail. It's just in this specific spot. I feel like if it was all throughout, it would look much nicer, but that's just me. And of course, on the backside here, we have a darker shade of brown, which looks alright. Again, it just sort of ends here. Would have been nice if it continued, but fortunately we just have this tail bit just not painted. So, yeah. Anyway, that is it for the painting on this figure. And the painting on this figure is not bad. It could be better, but honestly, the painting here is still very nice. So, the painting on this figure, I'd say gets 3/4 of a pass. Now we'll take a look at the articulation. And the articulation on this figure is not bad. It's fine. So, as you can see, the arms can move almost 360, but you do kind of have to stress the plastic in order to do so. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. The ankles here are on swivels, but again, this isn't really for extra articulation. This is just to fit the figure in the box, and that can sort of mess up with balancing, but this figure overall actually does balance very well, so I guess it's not too much of a problem. And of course, the legs can move about backwards that much and forwards this much. They can move individually, but when you move them, like, they do move at the same time, but it is possible to move them individually. So, there is that. Now for the main gimmick of this figure, which I don't love, but I kind of like the idea. It's very similar to the Cryolophosaurus, but there's just one thing about it that's kind of off, and I'm not really the biggest fan. So, of course, when you move the tail, you move the head here so you can, like, you know, rotate it and make him look like up and down, or her, sorry, make her look up and down and like side to side and all that, which I really like. And as you can see, there's a button here, and if we push that, we get some noises. And that's something I kind of don't like about this. Like, the roaring is cool, I like that, but I don't really get the shaking. To me, it just feels like she's just having like a seizure. So, yeah, but anyway, we do get some more noises. And all of those are Tyrannosaurus noises. It's not like with the Cryolophosaurus or the Thrash and Throw T-Rex, where we do get some Indominus Rex noises on a non-Indominus Rex animal. We actually do have a T-Rex with T-Rex noises, so I do like that. Again, the shaking I'm not really the biggest fan of, but, you know, like, the actual sturdiness of, like, you know, everything, it's nice. I do like this a lot. It's a lot better than the Cryolophosaurus, because I actually have it here, because, like, when you shake it ever so slightly, like, it just sort of like shakes its head like it's at a metal concert, where here, like, if you shake it, yeah, you're gonna get a little movement, but like overall, like, the mechanism here, like, it feels like tighter and more secure. It could be a little tighter, but overall, like, it's much better than the Cryolophosaurus, so I'm not really complaining there. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it for the articulation. The articulation on this figure it's fine. Again, with the whole gimmick here, I wouldn't, you know, the shaking bit, I kind of, you know, could go without. But overall, the articulation, I'd say it's fine. So the articulation on this figure gets a pass. Now I'll take a look at the sculpt, and the sculpting on this figure, for the most part, looks great. This is probably the most JP-style T-Rex we're ever going to get, because, like, just as a comparison, here we have Mattel's original attempt at an electronic T-Rex. The Thrash and Throw T-Rex, which I previously mentioned. Here, like, she doesn't look bad, but she's not, like, she looks more like the T-Rex from Jurassic World than Jurassic Park. Well, here, the body has, like, more of, like, a muscular build to it. Because in Jurassic World, and even in Fallen Kingdom, to me, she just seemed a little too skinny, where here, she has a perfect amount of, like, you know, musculature and just girth. And I like that a lot. The head sculpt is something that's new. I don't love the head sculpt, but I don't hate it either. It's fine. I think the head sculpt on the original T-Rex figures look much better than this, because, again, here we have the Thrash and Throw, and the sculpting here looks great. And it still looks a lot like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park here, but like, it just, I don't know, there's something that's just slightly off to me. I don't know what it is, but again, it's not the end of the world. And something that I do appreciate, this figure actually has rubber. First of all, the teeth here aren't painted, and they're not, like, sculpted on the figure. They're, like, individually sculpted. Well, alright, not individually sculpted. They're on, like, you know, a single piece, but, like, there's no painting here. Whereas the Thrash and Throw, as you can see, like, all the teeth here are painted, and they look very sloppy and just not clean. Where here, they're just, like, this bonish, whitish color, and they're all sculpted in, like, the same material, and, like, the same color and everything. So, like, the teeth here look very clean, and yeah, it just looks great. I absolutely love this. And even the tongue, as far as, like, you know, sculpting goes, it looks great, but it's also made out of rubber. So, it's great that we're getting, like, bigger dinosaurs with, like, rubber on them. I feel like, again, something like the sculpting here, but just, like, all rubber, like the real Mosasaurus, I feel like that would look really good, and I would love to see that. I don't think we're gonna see that, but maybe one year or one day we can have, like, a line that's, like, specifically just, like, real field dinosaurs. That would be great, and I would buy almost everything from that line, but I digress. But again, the plastic here, quality of plastic is very cheap feeling, I'm not gonna lie, but I'll talk about that towards the end. So yeah, overall the sculpting on this figure looks really good, so the sculpting on this figure gets a pass. Now I'll take a look at the detailing, and the detailing on this figure is also really good, so let's take a look. So going to the head here, we can see all these scalings, and all the bumps and, like, cracks and everything, and even the scars on her face there. There's one right there, which looks great, and even right here, all the detailing here looks absolutely great. Everything here very well defined, and I do like this a lot. The side of the body here, the little bit of musculature here looks great. And even on the arms here, the cracks and crevices, the musculature, everything here, just very nicely defined. Everything here just looks great. And going to the legs here, have a lot of musculature, especially in the calves here. They look great. The feet, that's actually something I forgot to mention when I talked about the sculpt. The feet here don't feel too big. Sure, they could be smaller, but, you know, they feel like a fine size. But anyway, going back to the detailing, the sculpting here looks great. Very, you know, T.rex-like. That's to be expected, but still. So, yeah. And even the tail here, and that's another thing I forgot to mention, the tail here, it could be longer, but as far as like length goes, it's actually not too shabby, and I do like this. So, yeah, but anyway, the detailing here looks great. All the creases and everything, and the bit of musculature underneath here looks great. And yeah, the detailing on this figure is great. So, overall, the detailing on this figure gets a pass, because everything here looks great. So, at the end of the day, should you get this? I've heard people say that this is Mattel's best T-Rex figure, and I'd agree with that. This is still a great figure, indeed. But it's no Red Rex, or any of the other Kenner T-Rexes. There are still some things that I don't like. For instance, the plastic quality is very thin and very cheap. So I feel like if I were to just, like, you know, climb a ladder and just drop this, I feel like this would break pretty easily. And overall, it just feels kind of cheap to me. As far as prices go, this figure costs about $40, which is honestly, like, I feel like too much for this thing. I feel like at most you should pay like 25 to 30. And even like, you know, maybe 35, but that's kind of pushing it. 40? No, because when you hold it, you can definitely feel just the thin, like, you know, cheap plastic, just how light it is. It doesn't really feel like a high-quality product, so if you do get this figure, try to get it for a good price. I'd say pay between, like, again, $20 to $30, so yeah, maybe 25 actually, because maybe not $20, but maybe like 25 to 30 I feel like would be a better price for this thing. 40, in my opinion, I feel like is a little too expensive, but that's just me. But again, I do think that this is a good figure, and if you can, definitely pick it up. For a good price, of course. So yeah, don't pay the full 40, but if you have like, I don't know, this thing is so far only sold at like Target, so if you have like a Target gift card, then I guess like use that. You know, don't like pay the full price, but I'm carrying on. If you want to know how big this figure is, here she is next to Dr. Billy Grant, and they actually scale up pretty nicely with each other. That looks very spot on to her actual size. And of course, we have some hand sanitizer. Stay safe, you know, don't be dirty, as I always say. So, yeah. Anyway, that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zack out.